Hey, welcome to Grandpa Sees the Blinking. Please don't take anything Grandpa says as financial advice. Grandpa's not a financial planner. And if you would, please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, the advantage of a cash account, especially if you got one like Grandma's got. And this is a continuation of my previous live stream that I did about 20 minutes ago. And the little ones, they went off to the critter ranch with grandma and their mommy, and so they're going to look at terracotta, which is a red donkey that we had back in Minnesota before we moved up here to the UP. And we had a couple of little donkeys, miniatures, and they're going out to the critter ranch to play with the animals. But they will come back. and But anyway, Grandpa wanted to go through. I'm on the 4 hour chart right here, and I'm going to go through the fair opening price pivot points. And I'm back here in the past, back when Tesla was 212 before it took off uphill. And we're going to go through that very shortly here. In detail, I'm going to do an analysis of it right up to the present. And hopefully, I'm hoping this will be helpful for you. And if you're interested in trading like Grandma trades with her cash account, you can email Grandpa at icblinking123@gmail.com and we'll figure something out. Okay, where do we got going on here? I wanted to make a few points here quick. I was making some of my last video. The one that probably bothers me is Powell, knowing that we're going to get a report that's bullish for Tesla and being so bearish and just literally plummet the market and Tesla with his comments and his speech. And like I say, it's a war. It's political, and they hate Elon, they hate Trump, they're fake news, and that's what they do best. So the liberal media is now calling Elon the president. He's in charge of Trump has put him in charge of what's called DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, to try and help our country, along with the WICK and Ramaswamy and Rand Paul, and there's a bunch of them on board that are working towards that end to get some of the garbage out of our country, the spending that's just not needed, the over bloated government, reducing the size of it, and all that sort of thing. But the liberal media is just continually stirring up strife. And, the war with the deep state, the day that Trump comes into office, isn't going to end. It's probably the beginning. It will continue. Just like the fake news is going to continue on some of these channels. Now, they've lost half their viewership. People are getting tired of listening to them spew their poison and their rhetoric day in and day out. Trying to cause division between Trump and Elon, and but don't worry, Trump and Elon and the Vic and these guys, Vance, I believe is going to be a great vice president, and so long term, we're golden. short term here, we're in a war. We're in a war, and we might be in a war with the Chinese. Listen to my previous live stream. I talk a little bit about what's going on with the Chinese and the drones. Um, but yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty, but we got people that are up for the job, and we got our rhinos in the Senate, we got our rhinos in the Congress. We need to get Trump's appointments through. It's huge for our country. My personal opinion on Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, I hope Trump keeps him. I I hope Trump supports him wholeheartedly. He's a good Christian man. Is he perfect? No. But like they say, he's got the patience of Job, and he's probably got the hardest job of everybody. When you're majority leader and your majority is that tiny, it's a tough job. It's a tough job when you're working in the swamp every single day. So, okay, let's get at it here. Divergence and volume. Okay, let's talk about that first. Now, I don't know if you can see it very clearly. I'll try put my white line on as we go across here. Okay. And I will tell you that where the price took off and went up here was back on 1024. 1024.24. That's when we spiked up. And on 1023.24, that was the day that we went down to 212. 212.02 according to this thing, but we went down there. These are 4-hour candles. So right around 212 area, we went real close to it, if not on it. And the white line is Grandpa's fair opening price. Grandpa calculates where Tesla should fairly open. Doesn't mean they're going to do fair, that's obvious, but where they'll fairly open, and it's extremely accurate, except for when they take off and do a gap up and or a gap down. And it's this one here is bare minimum of 21, 22 bucks. And very often they're at least $10 to $15 gaps. Sometimes they're only $2, $3 that we miss by. But Grandpa's figuring out how to. I've done it 3 times now where I've called out perfectly when this was going to occur by watching my indicators. Am I going to get it every time? No, but I've done 3 in a row where I put out that my fair opening price, in Grandpa's opinion, is not going to be correct, and where approximately it would be, and every one of those times I've been correct. Now, what happened back here in connection to volume as we came across, the volume was decreasing down to 70 million, 60 million, 50 million. We ran in the 50 million range, total volume bought and sold for the day in Tesla for several days, okay? When we hit this day, right here, the volume fell into the 30 million range. I still remember it. I thought, whoa, what the world is going on? Is the sky going to fall or what? But what it was indicating was the sky wasn't going to fall. It was going to take off to the moon. And that's when Grandpa figured out that this low volume, when you start seeing low volume, you can anticipate a huge bounce. And the opposite is true, and I'm going to show you that here also. So we're in Tesla. It seems like 30 to 50 million is what you would consider low volume, and that would mean that we're probably pretty close to the bottom of where we're going to be and be looking to go up in a big way, okay? And I'm seeing a pattern here over and over and over. And so it's hugely important. So 30 to 50 million volume down here. The sky is falling. Everybody's scared to death. Jeff was long down here and happy to get out with a few bucks. But Grandpa's getting smarter, not dumber, I think. And so off she goes. This long line here, that's the dominant trend line from way back when the previous high of Tesla. Okay, so off we go. Now we're going to move forward in time. And we're going to look at our fair opening prices, okay? Look at the jump here to this one from this one. I mean, 255 between fair opening prices to 214, $40 bounce to the bottom of the candle. Okay, this is what we're dealing with when they decided to run this thing, because it don't let the average guy get in it. They do it overnight, a lot of it. The gray is overnight. Most of you aren't trading, but now we can trade GTC EXTO, and we can place trades overnight and get in and out of them. So that's huge for us in Grandpa's opinion. So now we're moving up here. Here's your fair opening price. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I think we skimmed through it during the day here. It's hard to tell on this 4-hour candle. I'd have to go to a smaller time frame, and I'm not going to. So then we're up here, okay? Now volume is increasing. Volume is increasing as we go up, okay? We're gonna move across here. So we got some pretty high volume up in this area. We get our indecision candle. This is a sell signal. This candle engulfs into that one, followed by a red candle. Now we hit the fair opening price on this day. It went through it multiple times, I can guarantee you that, towards the end of the day. And here we go. We're coming back down, okay? We went up here and we peaked out at about 273.70 area, and we're heading downhill. Here we got the fair opening price, the white line. We nailed it all day long that day. We nailed it the next day. We got up through it. Okay, good to know. And there again, the volume is coming down again. Okay, we got a volume spike. She's pretty high up here, and she's coming down, but it's still much higher than it was over when it was at 30 and 50 million. Okay. Oh no, that was the wrong button. Okay, so we she runs her all the way down to the 238. This was actually a bottom pivot point. The 238, I can't remember the exact number, but right around 238, 78, somewhere near there, was this was actually a bottom pivot point. I don't have a white line there going across, but it was one. And then we got our fair opening price for the next day, and I believe it might have hit this one. It didn't hit this one. Here it is right here. Um, so we're off 48 to 43. We're about $5 off, and now our volume has gone down again. We they beat us up again. We're down in the 50, 60 million range for volume, and what's it do? It takes off and goes uphill, and the volume's increasing, and as that volume increases, it gets to a certain point, and when it gets to that certain point, she comes downhill. Okay, here we hit the three. We actually hit the blue line up here, 367.20. This was a top pivot point, and I can tell you in advance, the next place I believe is 302 that it goes down to, if my memory is right. Oh, there it is, 302. So we're up here at the blue line, and we come down to the white line, the bottom pivot point. And at this point, we've got low volume again. By the time we get here, we're down in the 50 million range, 50, 60, right in that range for volume, low 70s. And what's it do? What's it do when we get that low volume? Well, I tell you what it does. It takes off and goes up. That's what it does. And the volume increases. Now we're up. We've got real decent volume. We're above the grain, and we start moving a little bit sideways here for overnight. The next day, they're going to bore you to death now. That's what they do good. So she's stabilized here, coming across. Don't know what to do. The volume is pretty much not high and not low, in the 70 range, 70, 80, maybe 90. And she starts falling off. The volume starts falling off and dipping into the 50 range again. And off she goes. It's like an elevator overnight. They gap you up. Now, Grandpa's fair opening price was right on the money. Here, and the next day. Okay? And here they pulled the plug on us up at the 362 area, and all the way down to 233 and change, you know. Moved sideways for a day. Grandpa managed to hit the fair opening price severely on this one, and I hit it on that one. On this one, however, they were up above by a few bucks. We were close, but here they they nailed us. 240, 175 fair opening price, and the closest we got to it during the working day was about $7 away. Okay, so they did the gap up thing, and now on 3 of these, Grandpa called it out and got us up in the correct price. 356 on this one, and we hit it. We went through the fair opening price, but it paints a picture for Grandpa. Here we nailed it. Here we missed it. I believe this is the one that I said, hey, listen, I know the fair opening price is $354 or $355, whatever it was. At that point, it's hard to get this mouse to go right on it, but right around $354.90 area. And Grandpa said, "Hey, this thing is gonna, it's gonna open higher. It's gonna open in the 364, 365 range," and I nailed it right in the middle. This candle right here was, or this pivot point line here is the one that I called it on. So I said 364, 365 is where it's going to really open, and that's exactly what it did. Next day, we were off again, and if you listen to Grandpa's previous live streams, I called this one out, and I got it, that this would not be correct, and that it would be higher up, because I could see what they were doing in conjunction with the pivot points and the volume. Knowing the direction is just huge in trading. That's why Grandma pays real. Grandma, she's up over $9,000 in a little over 2 months in her little teeny weeny cash account. She can only buy long. Some days she don't even trade at all. Some days you shouldn't trade. So we nailed this one, and we hit this one, and we're moving across. This one we missed. Now this is the third one I believe I called out, and that it was going to be higher than what Grandpa anticipated. I'm not sure exactly which ones they all were, but there were 3 of them that I did. Here we missed this one, okay? But we nailed that one, I can tell you. And here's the day she went up to 488.54, your new top pivot point. Now, Grandpa thought we were going to be up here in the 507 range. But this was unforeseen what went on here. We were golden, and we had all the bad news come out with Powell and drones all over America. But up here now, we had high we had high volume. Okay, we've been getting some spikes of high volume here. Okay, our volume has been pretty high, just amazingly high. I see this as extremely bearish for us. I see us. I got to make it smaller so you can see the numbers down here. Here's your 302. This is your previous low. 302.70 is your previous low bottom pivot point. Okay. 310 right, 410 right here is our current lowest pivot point potentially. Okay. Where we hit just pre-market. Okay, 410, what was it exactly? Sorry, 410.23 is the actual number. And I do not believe it's going to be your bottom pivot point. A matter of fact, I've been talking, that the 400 range right here, right at this green line is 401. Okay, and then you have 399 at this green line. Could potentially hold us. Now, what I think you might go there and take a bounce off of it, potentially. I'd watch it throughout the day, and I'd say Grandma's going to probably buy some in that area and, take her $3, $5, whatever she gets, and that's it. Okay, get out of Dodge because whatever Grandma's going to do here, she's not going to do a lot of it because you don't want to get stuck with shares up here. Here's the fair opening price right here. I'm going to make this thing bigger. The fair opening price is this white line here, 428.59. Now, on Grandma's second trade of the day here, she bought in the evening, okay, and she got in right at 220 at the end of the day, okay, and she got in at 220. But we sold them. She sold them after hours, and because at that point, it didn't look like we were going to see. And this 4-hour candle doesn't show the total picture of it. Let me see if I can get it better in an hourly candle for you. These are hourly candles. So Grandma, she gets in at 420, right at 420. I believe it was right after hours. And we were anticipating it getting up to the fair opening price, which isn't showing on this particular chart. Trying to get one that'll show it to you. It just plain ain't going to cooperate. That's all it's to it. I'll go back to the 4-hour. Okay, so anyway, Grandma gets in and she picks up her $125 and bails out. Why did Grandma want to get out when she knows that on Monday the fair opening price is 428? 428.59. Why is Grandma want out? Going to take her profit. Why'd she do that? Because there's a good chance. There's a good chance that on Monday we're not going to. We might hit it. We might move beyond it. We might go to the 240s and so on. Okay, we got wicks up here at 247 that it reached the last day, and that probably would have been a good place to unload your shares. I'm leaning that we're not going to possibly even hit the fair opening price. I think we're going to come close to it. Okay. and I could be wrong, we might open above it. It moved sideways here for a while, but we got pretty high volume again. What was our volume? 129 million on Friday. Let me tell you some of these volumes. That's why I watched the divergence so close. 117 the day before. So we had 117 here. Day before, 142. Right here, 142. There's your high volume. And we made our new high pivot point. And we got the high volume, and what happened? Zoom, downhill, big time. I mean, we dropped, let's see, the bottom of this candle here, 428 to 488. That's a $50, $60, $60 drop. That's what we did. We dropped $60 this day. Did a little bit of a rebound. You can expect that after a $60 drop. Okay. And but my point is the volume. The volume, high volume. We actually are climbing back up in volume. It's scary, okay? And until this thing gets us down where we're going to see the 50 million volume in Tesla, this is one of the reasons that Grandpa doesn't do, I can't keep track of all the volume fluctuations in 10 different stocks or even 2 different stocks. It takes all I can do to keep track of it in one stock. And so it can paint a picture of our direction and where this thing could be going. So I'm a little bit leery of our 428.59 because of the high volume. I believe at some point here we're going to get a gap down. Now maybe they do extremely high volume and they give us some of these long wicks, okay? Get everybody stuck at the top of the wick at the 447 area, okay? Everybody gets stuck at the top of the wick and they do the rug pull, okay? Top of the wick, look at the wick on that thing. That happened so quickly. Poor Jeff. He should have sold his shares up there. Grandpa, I couldn't sell mine. What happened to Grandpa? I was long at 463, and I was golden. I come into the day long, but I went into the day. I bought them at 463. Where is 463? Right down in the wick. That's where Grandpa bought, right here. Right down here. Look at that candle. I mean, I was up over $700 on my few shares. And but I couldn't. What I didn't do is I was in a limited margin account, and I checked. I didn't check my day trades before I bought the stock. And once I figured it out, besides I thought it was going to go to 507, but I would have absolutely sold with a profit. Grandpa always sells early, always. Grandma sells early too, by the way, but she makes money. So here, what happened to Grandpa is before I was going to sell them up here, and I could have sold them, but I would have lost my margin account, and because if you sell and you don't have any day trades left, they'll take your margin account away. I almost wish I would have and just changed it to a cash account. That's what I should have done in hindsight, because I couldn't get out until today, the next day, where the high was, in the 250s. So I'm looking at taking a $7 loss, which Grandpa didn't want to do. I should have took the $7 loss at that point, but I didn't do that either. And so Grandpa still got his dumb shares going long, and here we are. And but at some point you have to realize you made a mistake, and I made several of them. One of them, not knowing and not paying close enough attention to whether or not I had a day trade left in that limited margin account. And because I went to sell them, and I thought I better check just to be safe. I thought I had one, but no, I didn't. So I couldn't get out, and it cost Grandpa. But Grandma, she's out. She sold her shares, and she's patiently waiting for an opportunity to rebuy. That's what Grandma does. She's really good at it. But I'll tell you what, it's when you're going down, it's slim pickings to make money. Slim pickings to make money. And we ain't found the bottom yet. So where are we going? How low will she go? The 357 area, potentially the 338, 340 area is, at this point, is a real possibility. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news if you're long, but Grandpa don't. The 340 to 488 just isn't that much. It's $140. That's easy for Tesla to do between pivot points. Yep, and we might zigzag and run sideways a while, but we do have the potential of seeing. It's possible. I'm saying it's absolutely possible. It's possible we go lower than that, but I would, if 400 don't hold us, if 400 right here where I'm at, if that don't hold us, okay, and it might hold us temporarily for a little bit, I would anticipate a bounce there. I don't believe 410 is our bottom pivot. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe so. 400 don't hold us. You're looking at 387 area right here. You're looking at 357, and you're looking down at 340, 338, 338. As a realistic possibility. Now, the great news of all this is once the volume starts getting in the 70s again, and we start running sideways a while, and when we start seeing the 50s, wherever this point is, And Grandpa will be screaming about it every day. I'll talk to you about divergence and the volume. And when you start hearing Grandpa saying 50 million volume, 50 million volume, be ready. Start buying. Start buying some shares because we're near the bottom. We're near the bottom. I'm going to take you back in time a little bit here. I want to take you back to the 212 and because I want you to look at it. I want you to look at what they did. Here's your 212 right down here, okay? Right down on the bottom here. They ran sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. And on the 9th day, the market makers created upward trend. But they did it. Here, 30 million volume, 50 million, 50 million, 50 million, 70 million, 60 million, 70 million. Okay, and up we go. Okay, it paints your picture. Anywhere you bought in here, up and down, $5, $10 don't matter, beans. Anywhere you bought in this area, you're going to make a killing going along with your cash account. That's why Grandma's got money. You ever wonder why Grandma's got money? I do. Here again, they drove the volume down. Pay attention to what Grandpa tells you about divergence of volume, okay? And they drove it down, and off to the races we go. I could go back in time. I have them all written down in my little notebook with my pen and paper. I can go back in time and tell you the exact volume on every one of these days. You know, maybe I'll do a live stream and actually do that. I think I might. I'll go back in time and show you the volume each day in correlation to what this stock does. And what you'll see is exactly what Grandpa sees, is when we're up in the high volume, you can expect it to fall, the price, dramatically. And vice versa. Yeah, you'll get your spike up. You'll get your wick up. Oh, it's high volume. I'm going to buy. That's what I hear all day long on YouTube. I'm going to buy. It's high volume. I see the volume spike. I'm going to get in. Well, you might as well shoot yourself. You get in on this bus. This was high volume. I guarantee it. 142 million. That's high volume for Tesla. Tesla can get up into 200 millions. Then you're in trouble too. That's even worse. But yeah, there's absolutely a pattern there. It's helpful, and little ones are going to come back, and we're going to watch Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer today. They're all excited. Okay, I hope this was helpful and beneficial to you. I hope you somewhat understand what Grandpa's talking about. Maybe you see spaceships and drones outside. You know, Grandpa sees stuff all the time. Grandpa sees the blinking. Think about eternity once in a while. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I forget to tell you later. The future is extremely bright for Tesla. It's even brighter if you have an idea of when you're going to see that run up. And I can guarantee you the volume was low here. And it was low through here some. It spiked up a little bit, dropped off, and off to the races we go. High volume, down we go. Sideways a little bit, down we go. We got high volume. Is Tesla going to see the 500s, the 700s? Grandpa's opinion, within 60 to 90 days, I think you're going to see the 530 to 640 area, if not 670. And so I'm bullish. But we're talking 2 to 3 months from now, okay? We can easily go down here to the 340 range or wherever it's going to be. I think I'll get a handle on it with the volume. Between the pivot points and the volume, I think Grandpa will be able to pretty much call. And that's my goal, is to be able to call, okay, this is getting out of hand here. We're going to take a dive, okay? And then vice versa, we're getting a low volume in conjunction with our pivot points. We're going to take a spill. Now, 428.59, the reason Grandpa thinks we might be a little short on getting to that number is because of the high volume on this day. We got a volume spike, actually, from the previous day. Let's see, 429. Previous day was high, and that one was 117 million. So yeah, we got a spike in the volume between this day and that day. And that one there was really high. So we got super high, medium high, and pretty high again. Tells Grandpa we might just gap down some. And I believe we will see some gaps down. Probably $30, $50, $20 to $30 overnight type of deal. I'm not talking necessarily for Monday, but potentially on our way to 340. 340 could come so quickly. Your opportunity, if you're long to get out, might be tomorrow. Could we get us bounce back up and run sideways for a while here and bounce back and forth in the 350 to 410 area, or 440 to 410 area for a while and stagnate? It's possible, but we need if the volume mellows out around the 70, 80 million, 90 million range, and we run sideways a bit, but when we see that low volume, then we know we're off to the races. But if it stays high, we're coming down, and right now it ain't looking good. But we will see. Trading is reactive, not predictive, and I'm going to react when I see the volume and the fair opening price. Like I say, 4 p.m. Eastern time every day, Grandpa knows the fair opening price, at least what it should do fairly, and we'll run with that. Think about eternity once in a while. Grandpa does. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.